Yo, yo, what up? It's your girl Joy, the Hip Hop Power Font, and welcome to the rap session. Alright, so let me break it down real quick. I recorded this video and then the first half did not have any sound. Okay, so here we are again with a fresh, brand new start. Okay, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad. It's cool or whatever, right? But I am reviving the rap session. Okay, it used to be a YouTube live that I did, tarot. But y'all know I'm trying to separate tarot from astrology on the page. And so here we will be doing strictly astrology. I will be using cards. Okay, I will be using the Astro Soul Oracle deck. Okay, an astrology deck for the evolution of the soul. Okay, love this deck all the way down. I think it is a great teaching tool. Okay, and this is not in my Amazon store, but they on Instagram or whatever. So I'll link it in the description box so you can get your own. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of bring you all in as to, updates and everything that's going on. Okay. So, I mean, ain't no need to keep talking. So, here we go. On January 6th at 11:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the sun will meet Venus in a conjunction in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, this is 15 degrees. I don't even know if I said that already, but it's a 15-degree conjunction. Okay, very, very tight. Okay, each house is made up of 30 degrees, right? So 15 degrees is right dead heart center. Okay, and heart center, remember that. Okay, so what does the sun conjunct Venus in Capricorn look like? Okay, so you have to remember that each planet has a need that they are trying to have met, right? The sun met Venus because it needs what? Some things the sun might need are self-esteem, admiration. Venus is like, okay, well, I can provide you with safety and security or pleasure and comfort. For Venus, safety and security is Taurus and pleasure and comfort is Libra. But you must remember the sign as well, Capricorn. How are we going to get that done? Okay. Are we going to set limits? Are we setting boundaries with other people? Okay. How are we getting this done? Are we getting organized? Are we trying to be in control of something? Do we need to set up some type of system or structure? Okay. And so that is how you have to kind of go through it. Okay. And when I'm talking to y'all, please know I'm going to be talking to y'all as if you don't know astrology. Okay. I hear astrologers all the time. When I first started getting into astrology, I had no clue what these people were talking about. But, I listened, no clue what they was talking about. So I'm going to try to be breaking it down as I'm talking. Okay. Okay. So the sun meets with Venus, right? So what would a sun conjunction with Venus look like? Okay, it's about love, to love and to be loved, and you're like, Joy, like that's all Venus. Like, what does that have to do with the sun? Well, Venus is about love, but the sun loves love. The sun wants to be loved. Okay, the sun is about popularity, having people admire you, love you, all of the things. Okay, you don't want to be looked at in a negative way at all whatsoever. Okay, and so that's why self-love is important, but relationships are the primary motivator, I will say. Okay, you want to be the best, so you have to be more refined. Okay, you got to act like you got some couth about yourself, like you ain't just some old person off the street. Okay, but you cannot have your identity, son, get wrapped up in how others perceive you. Okay, because what you want to be is not necessarily who you are right now in this moment. Okay, There's no hardship, it's ease, comfort, luxury. We all want that. We are all striving to have that. That's kind of what life is about, right? Striving to reach a certain goal. And no goal setter or getter like Capricorn. I can tell you that right now. But the thing with the conjunction is a conjunction is an Aries aspect. Okay, so that means it has all the qualities of Aries Mars archetype. And so that means the excitement, the enthusiasm, the go get them, the motivation, right? But when people think of Mars, Aries, they only think of the warrior, the fighter, the battle. Okay, but that archetype is also about adventure and exploring. And so when you explore your love of self, you don't care about what others think. You don't need the popularity. Okay, you're not trying to do things for brownie points. Okay, you're not trying to do things to get on people's good side, because it's like, it'll become like, do you really like me for me, or do you just like me for the vibes, because I'm fun to be around, because you enjoy being around me? Like, why are we friends? Why are we connected in this way? And so with a conjunction, it blurs the lines a great deal. You have no idea which is which. And so that's why discernment, Capricorn, well, discernment isn't Capricorn, but that's why having discernment, Earth brings you back down. Okay, this is an Earth sign, Capricorn. And so they might like you because you have some level of authority. Maybe you have a lot of material things that they want or need or covet. Okay, and so you got to think about that. They might just be after your status. Okay, they might just be after your status. Okay, so be careful. Be careful. Okay, and so now we're going to switch things around just a bit. So after Venus meets with the Sun, Venus forms a conjunction with Mars. Okay, in the same sign of Capricorn. January 7th at 9:43 p.m. in the same 15 degrees that Venus just met with the Sun. So it's almost like the Sun left home and Venus invited Mars over. Okay? I'm just saying. And Venus still has the same needs, right? And so Mars needs are autonomy. They need something to do. Okay, they're trying to move around. They need an activity. Okay, movement. They're trying to move things forward. They need something to do. Action. Okay, and so I think that's where the jolt, okay, comes right in. So Venus Mars, what does that look like? What does a Venus Mars conjunction look like? Fighting for love. Right? When to and how to assert yourself. Okay? Because Mars is assertive. But you want a cooperative, collaborative energy. Okay? That is the main thing. The main thing is the main thing. You might not know when to stop. You're having so much fun. You're in love. You might be spending all this money, feeling sentimental. You got a big heart. Okay, you got a big heart. Heart is going to be repetitive here. Your feelings might be everywhere. Okay, so just hold your horses. Just calm down. Relax. This could be a romantic adventure, okay? Because you got the personality, you got the charisma, you're warm, you're loving, okay? I don't know, maybe somebody out there pregnant, you might get married young, you might have a shotgun wedding. I don't know. But simply put, this is fighting for love, okay? Fighting to be loved, okay? That's why I say hopeless romantic might be a whole whimsical adventure. Okay. And we'll get into that as well. Okay. Because, well, no, I haven't. I ain't going to get that deep until the end. I'll save that. I'll save that. But the thing is, you got to remember, Capricorn is here. Capricorn is very materialistic. You can't buy love and you can't buy self-esteem. Okay. Love gifting might be your love language, and cup might runneth over with love. Okay. But don't put too much value in the material things. Don't put too much value in your appearance. Obviously, you don't want to look like some Joe Schmo off the street. Sorry, Joe. But, okay, you have to make sure that you are getting together for the right reasons. Okay, I know sometimes it might feel like you just don't want to seem stingy or cold or selfish. And so that's why you're doing all the gift giving to kind of overcompensate. But it makes you look shallow. Okay. And it makes it, seem like you might be only after one thing. Okay. Because, Mars is very carnal energy. I'll say it like that so we don't get flagged. Okay. But then, okay, Venus leaves. And then the sun comes back and like, Mars, why you in my house? It's like a confrontation. They fighting over a woman, the two masculine planets or luminaries. Okay. The masculine energy, they chasing after the feminine. Okay. It's like you're competing for unconditional love. Well, we haven't gotten that far, but yeah. Okay. So the sun conjunct Venus. The sun wants to be popular, but Mars wants to be autonomous. Okay. They want to be independent. They still want their freedom. So Mars don't mind being the side. Mars don't mind being the side because we all know how Mars and Venus get down. Okay, we know how Mars and Venus get down. Okay, so Mars said, I'll be the side. That's my girl anyway. She's going to always come back to me. Okay, so all of these planets, these three planets, okay, Sun, Mars, Venus, Sun, Venus, Mars. I'll do it in that order because that's the conjunction order. They all got together. Okay, the sun will conjunct with Mars on January 9th at 8:41 a.m. at 16 degrees. Okay, these two met at 15 degrees. These two met at 15 degrees. These two met at 16. Okay, so 0 degrees, one big conjunction in the same sign of Capricorn, right? And so what we normally call that a stellium. Yes, a stellium provides reinforcement. There's like a heavy concentration of energy, right? And so it is like very intense. There is one single focus. Okay. The conjunction is already forceful, is driven, self-motivated. So to even have a more intense concentration of energy on a single focus, okay, kind of reinforces everything. So the degrees matter. Okay. These planets met the sun within 1 degree. 0, they are dead heart center. And we call that Cazimi. I'm going to say Cazimi. Okay. It literally translates to in the heart. It's almost like a purification of strength. Okay. The planets are essentially crossing over the sun, and the sun rays are said to kind of fortify it, to make it stronger, able to withstand whatever's coming. And so you might get sudden inspiration, might be a powerful visualization, and it's good luck. Okay. So the Cazimi, this is where we are. Okay. Okay. Did we even get into... No, we didn't. Or did I? I did. My notes look so messy. Okay. They look so messy. I don't think I did Mars and the Sun. Mars and Sun. Mars knows what it wants. It knows the quickest way to get it. Okay? That is the thing. Importance to achieve, to do, because they want somebody to be, the Sun wants people to be proud of them. Okay? Your ability to accomplish, Mars. And you know Capricorn is all about accomplishing a goal. Okay? But be careful. You might be a little accident prone, head injuries. I know myself, I got a killer headache and I've been taking whatever and nothing is working. I'm barely functioning right now. Okay? But you might not actually kind of be like competing for someone's heart. Okay? It's a lot of masculine energy here. So I don't know what's happening with your father or uncle, your son, your husband, nephew. Maybe you're doing a lot of work with tools, metal. Maybe there's a military person involved, a surgeon. Okay. Military metal tools. That's all Mars. In surgery is too. Okay. But the father we know is the Sun in this case. Okay. Maybe the father and child are competing against each other for mother's love. A lot of people always like to say it's the mom and the daughter, but sons and fathers compete as well. And I told y'all it's about that unconditional love. Okay? This is why we're doing this. We want people to love us. We want people to be liked. We want you to shower us with gifts or shower you with gifts so that you can love us back. Okay? So, this is where we are now. So now we get to bring in another character of the story. So let's do this. On January 9th at 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus will form in opposition to Jupiter. Okay, Venus is in Capricorn. Can you see? Let me push it up some. Okay, Venus is in Capricorn, forming, I know it's crooked and crazy, but just bear with me. Opposition to Jupiter, retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Okay. Okay. So what does that look like? What are Jupiter's needs? Now this angle will be happening at 19 degrees, 19 degrees. Jupiter needs meaning, purpose. Okay. They want what's right. Justice. Okay. In Cancer, okay, is about being gentle, emotional security, being accepted, belonging. Okay. Also, Cancer energy can be very loyal. Okay. But they're also very covert and secretive. So just be mindful of that as well. Okay, I had to take a pause because I got a little reminder on Alexa and I had to cut that part out. Okay. So we have Venus opposite Jupiter. What does an opposition look like, Joy? I don't even know where I left off because I got so many freaking reminders on my Alexa. And so I had to cut it. But, okay, opposition. In opposition is a Libra angle. It's halfway through, right? And so 180 degrees is all about intimacy, beauty, social relatedness, okay? Being interested in the other to make them feel at peace and comfortable, okay? These planets have enough in common to attract each other naturally and get along. But what they have to reconcile are the elements: earth, water. That's mud, clay, really. Okay. And so the goal is to create a partnership between these two planets. They're going to treat each other fairly and collaborate so they can mutually benefit. Okay. Because that's really what it's about. All these planets got to get their needs met. Okay. They have to get their needs met. And so what does Venus opposite Jupiter look like? You might love God. You might love religion. Maybe y'all met at church. Okay. It's all about your cup runneth over with love. What is your love language? Gifting. I already told y'all you can't buy love. You can't buy self-esteem. You can't buy clothes and just appear. You got to have substance. Okay. You can't. Everybody can't marry rich. Okay. Everybody can't marry rich. Okay. That's literally the main thing. And I know some of y'all are like, well, Joy, what house are all of these things happening in? See, the thing about the houses is, I don't know where you are in the world watching this. So where you are, the house might be different. Okay. Because for me, okay, because I did a little chart just for GP, just so I could see. But for where I am at on the East Coast in the US, okay, all of this is happening in the 10th house, ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. Okay. So I can't tell you what area of life this is going to happen. Okay. Because that's what the houses indicate. Where in your life? Second house is going to be at home. 10th house is going to be at work. 9th house might be at, if you're in college, 4th house, maybe, where is the 4th house location? I can't even think right now, but 12th house might be at a hospital. Okay. I can't tell you where. Okay. But we'll get into a little bit of that later on. Okay. So Venus met with Jupiter in the opposition, right? So Venus leaves. Okay. Venus leaves. And who comes right behind Venus? Boom. The sun. The sun will meet Jupiter in an opposition on January 10th at 3:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 19 degrees as well. Okay. The sun is still, got to have his needs met by Jupiter. It's like, bro, my girl, she was cheating. I found another dude in my house. I found Mars in my crib. You know what I'm saying? Jupiter like, nah, she just came over to me. Jupiter is the biggest boss. Okay. Think of it like this little story. Okay. Venus was dating the sun, cheated on the sun with Mars, right? The sun came home and found Mars in the crib. They confronted, they had it out, what have you. Meanwhile, while the sun and Mars, where's my Mars card? The whole time while Sun and Mars is duking it out, right? Venus done already went to Jupiter. Venus done moved on from the both of them and went to the biggest boss. Y'all know Jupiter's all about the money, the good luck, the good fortune. Okay, she with the biggest boss. Okay, and so the sun going to Jupiter like, you too, man, not you too. Oh my gosh, you too, bro. Okay, so Sun, Jupiter, what does that look like? Opportunist, opportunity. Okay. Visionary, opportunity. Optimism, confidence. It's God complex. Okay. But they mean well. They might come off a little condescending. Okay. Jupiter might be a little, you know what I'm saying? The sun might be arrogant, but Jupiter is about knowledge, higher education. That's why I said college for the 9th house, right? So Jupiter has a level of awareness that the sun does not. Okay. But Jupiter also has morals, values. That is ethics. And so Jupiter does feel bad. Okay, they do feel bad. But the sun doesn't understand why. Well, no. Both planets have to get on the same page. One can't understand why the other one doesn't recognize the issue because there are unrealistic expectations and opinions about the self. Jupiter will judge you down. Okay? Jupiter is judging the sun. And the sun doesn't understand why Jupiter doesn't see the value. Okay? I don't see why this is important. Jupiter is just like, look, you can't be all things to all people. Okay? You got these big goals, Capricorn, but you're not making them come to fruition. You're not doing nothing about it. You love her, but what have you done for her lately? Okay? There's very little awareness of failure, which I think is a good thing because you want to grow, right? And you want freedom for everybody. You want everybody to be able to, these plans want everybody to be free to do whatever it is that they want. Okay? And so resilience is because you have these strong beliefs. Okay? And so you just want the experience. I don't know why you need this experience, but I think it's obviously for the growth. Okay? You can make do with whatever. We understand that. Okay? But I don't know if somebody think they are like the bee's knees, like God-like father figure. Okay? But Jupiter gonna enlighten them and let them know. You are not who you think you are. These people are only treating you like this because you're buying them all the stuff and you flashing your money and da 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 da. Mars comes right in, right behind the sun. Okay? Right behind the sun. Excuse me. So what does a Mars-Jupiter opposition look like? The Holy Crusade, fighting for your beliefs or against the beliefs of others. Mars is probably like, look, don't believe nothing the sun said. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for God or on behalf of, okay, enthused to grow and explore. Mars is like, look, I'm trying to learn who I am, learn who this other person is, learn our love languages, okay? But I need my space. I need freedom. Strong religious or political beliefs, okay? Mars is like, I need to explore my sexuality so I can grow, okay? But don't get too carried away, okay? Because that's what Jupiter do. Jupiter will overdo it any day, okay? They get carried away because they believe that they can do, so they can't, so they do it. Basically like, I believe I can, so I do. And that's what I was saying earlier about knowing when and how to assert yourself. Okay, that was Venus and Jupiter. Okay, but no awareness of failure can get you in trouble because Mars is so impulsive and willing to take risks that mistakes can sometimes be inevitable. Okay, so you either got big cojones or you just crazy because you got all this energy. Okay, that's all. That's just what it is. Okay, we are fighting. We are acquiring socialization skills. We are garnering attention for meaningful experiences with other people for a particular purpose. Okay, so what does that look like with all of these planets together? Let me show you. So we got the Sun, Venus, and Mars. And I'm just going to use the Cazimi card because it is obviously a stellium and a conjunction in Capricorn. Okay. Can you see? Can you see? Let me spread it out a bit. Make a little noise. Okay. All of that is opposite Jupiter. Why does it look so crooked? Okay, opposite Jupiter. I want to do a third row, but y'all ain't gonna be able to see the third row. Are you? Will you? Opposite Jupiter. I'll do it like this. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. I'm going to put this over here and put you here. Okay. Okay. Well, just do it like this. Womp wompity womp. Okay. This is what it looks like. Card wise anyway. Well, if I had more space, it wouldn't look like this. But anyway. So, this is what it looks like. The Sun, Venus, and Mars are all in a Cazimi in Capricorn opposite Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, right? And so, all of these planets are trying to have their needs met. But the thing is, right, the Sun rules Leo in the 5th house. So when you're drawing up a chart for this week, if you decide to do so, you have to see if there are other planets in Leo and what planets are in the 5th house, because that will also play a part in what the Sun is doing. And the same for the other planets. Okay, that's why astrology is just like a giant web. Okay, think of like a dream catcher. All of those strings, okay, the yarn, they're all connected. Venus, you got 2 houses. You got to look in the 2nd and the 7th. Okay, Mars, you got to look at the 1st and what's in Aries. Okay, Capricorn, what's in the 10th? Where's Saturn? In Pisces, next to Neptune. Okay, and who is retrograde? Okay, neither one. But Pisces. Ooh, Venus rules Taurus. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus right now. That is how all of this connects. Okay, and for Jupiter to be in Cancer, okay, this is going to be a very emotional time. Okay, so take stock of how you're feeling. Okay, and don't allow anyone. Dang, I didn't know this book. My notebook fell. My notes. Y'all know I keep a notes, child. Okay, but yeah, I'm just looking at my notes and making sure we covered everything. Now, this might be about your reputation. Okay. But there's a lot of potential for success here, whether it's at home, family, real estate, I don't know. Okay. But you're doing something that you love. You just need something to do. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't get too cocky. Stay grounded and focus on the adventure. Just enjoy the adventure. Be ready to explore, learn, grow. Okay, because there's a strong desire for you to do so. But make sure you hold on to your integrity. Okay, be objective. And make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons. Or try to determine if the other person is doing whatever they're doing for the right reasons. Okay, are they trying to win you over because they actually care about you? Or are they trying to get something out of you? Okay, they see you on the success ladder and they want you to just carry them up instead of them doing their part. So I hope this was good. We will have more of these. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.